the conferences. When I go to these conferences, there's schools, some school system, Loudoun County, Virginia, has been involved for 18, 20 years. And they continue. I think where Mr. Pauley come from, Boone County ran out of contract. Cabell County is currently out of contract, but they still employ an energy manager, and they still utilize the program, and that's when your greatest benefit in savings will come, is once you're not paying for the initial program anymore, and you're achieving all these savings, and your cost for the program has actually gone down quite a bit. When we first started the program, there was some stuff in the paper, and there were some complaints that the buildings were cold, in the mornings, and that was true. And the problem was we were using old technology, dial-type thermostats, and we didn't have anybody in the building to turn the thermostat up until the teacher came in. So one of the things I have done is through working with Dana Smith over in maintenance, we have upgraded to programmable thermostats so that we can program these thermostats to come on, bring the heat system or the air conditioning system on 30 minutes or an hour before school starts and before any kids are there, so that the building is nice and comfortable and warm or cool for school day, and then they automatically shut the system down at 4 o'clock on the assumption that the building will retain its heat or cool during the time that the custodian's in there. It won't lose it that fast. So by modulating these things, turning things off on weekends through the summer, we've achieved quite a bit of savings. And at the same time trying to maintain a comfortable environment for the kids. We don't do anything that's going to affect the learning environment inside the schools. As a matter of fact, we go out of our way to try to accommodate any requests that the teachers have or the principal has for their particular building, any extra usage that they have. Bearing in mind that we're always going to have mechanical failures. You had those before the program, and we're going to have them while the program's going. It's come on since we went in, and so did Donna. But I've talked to Donna a little bit in other settings about it, and I was hoping Rod would be here because, as a businessman, I'm sure he would appreciate to understand what we're doing. But do y'all have any questions at all that I can answer for you?
I'm impressed with the amount of savings you have. But now, you did mention that we do pay a fee for 4 years. What is that fee?
Now, Bertie, this is where you might have to scratch.
Is it $12,000 a year for the software?
No, it looks to me, Donna, like it runs approximately $100,000 a year for the first 4 years of the program. It's on average, that's what we come out to. Now, I don't know what all cost that is, if that's the program or if that includes my salary.
No, it doesn't.
It does not include my salary. Okay, and then at the end of the 4 years, it drops down to below $30,000 a year for maintenance of the software and the program. I didn't make a bunch of these. I showed Mr. Pauley, but this is a bar graph that we sent showing cost as opposed to, they darked that one out because we completed with this 8 years. So those are actual cost versus savings. And then this is where it drops down to each year. This is projected savings for subsequent years after the 4 years.
What will happen this summer? What are your plans for the summer while the children are there?
For those of you that have been here long enough, and you remember I reported a huge snafu at the high school back when we had the mudslide and we lost our electricity service over there, and over about a 6-week period we actually incurred about $23,000 in additional cost over what we normally spend. What I'm going to try this summer, and as a result of all that, and by the way, I attempted to and was unable to get the power company or the gas company to make any kind of adjustment on that bill for us. I wrote letters to to both and wasn't successful at all. However, during that process, I found out we apparently have purchased some pretty high-dollar boilers for the high school. They're Buderus condensing boilers, and the condensing boiler indicates that you can run the temperature down on that boiler to 0. You can actually turn it off. On other type boilers, like we have in all the other schools, you have to maintain a certain temperature in the hot water loop, or there will become cracks in the stacks and in the boiler. There's potential for damage and costly repairs. But since we have the condensing boilers at the high school, I can actually turn those boilers off. And you're thinking, well, you're not running heat in the summer anyway. Yes, we do. At the high school, at West Hamlin, and at the 2 Hamlin buildings, we have what's known as a 4-pipe reheat system, where not only do you run air conditioning, but you also run the boilers to put hot air into the system to dry it out and cut down on humidity and the risk of mold or mildew in the schools over the summer. The one at the high school is designed to reuse heat coming off the chiller units to achieve that. So I'm going to try the 1st of June cutting off our 2 boilers at the high school, and do that for June, July, and August. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but our average gas bill at the high school during those months over the past 2 years has been $7,000 a month. So I've got an opportunity there, if we can do what I think we can, that we can save $21,000 just at that one location over the summer. We've got problems. I'd say problems are not really problems. We have Energy Express in several of our schools over the summer, so we can't completely shut them down. But what we try to do in all of our schools is shut everything down that's not in use. We shut off computers, we unplug all the appliances. All of you've probably seen Oprah and the pieces she's done on Vampire Electronics, where anything that's plugged in is still drawing electricity. We unplug everything. I go through each room in every school at the beginning of summer. I unplug everything. I cut the air conditioning off. Naturally the heat's off in most of the buildings. For the areas where we have concerns about humidity, and that's one of the things I monitor all summer long, is humidity in these buildings. We run the air conditioning for maybe 2 hours during the hottest part of the day, such as West Hamlin, where I guess 7 or 8 years ago you all had to throw away about $30,000 or $40,000 worth of books because of black mold. In that building, I monitor that closely, and I run the air conditioning over there from like 2 to 4 every day for 2 hours to bring the temperature down and dry it out and cut down the mold potential. But it's not running all day long, all summer long, with nobody in the building like it has in the past. That's why I say the savings we've achieved here has been during times when there's nobody in the building, at night, weekends, over the summer. And of course, we operate the buildings where we need to. Like the high school stays open most of the summer because we have